Hi! So, today we're going to look at something really special and really huge. That, of course, being my Pokemon DVD collection, as well as actually my VHS collection. Yeah, aside from DVDs and Blu-rays, I also have a few VHSs for Pokemon. Now, Pokemon is a very fascinating franchise because I know it's only been around for 30 years, but the fact that it's grown so much, accumulates so much money and merchandise is just crazy. And of course, everything popular, there's obviously shows to go with it, and of course, I want to show off the physical releases of that show, plus its movies. And Pokemon's kind of been a big part of my life, mostly for the fact that my brother is a huge fan of the show. And recently, or at least much quicker than I did, he became a big fan of the games rather quickly as well. So yeah, to celebrate 30 years of Pokemon, I'm going to show off everything I have. Now, yes, before in my other videos, I have shown bits and pieces of my other Pokemon DVDs and even made a two-part series explaining all the physical releases. But, I don't know, I feel like I could have done a better job. Okay, granted, with the history videos, they were more like telling you what existed at the time, because since those videos, I have gotten a few other DVDs as well as a few other stuff coming out since then. So, let's take a look at it. Okay, so to kick things off, let's look at all the VHS tapes I have for Pokemon. Starting with Pokemon I Choose You. And yeah, as you can tell by the Scotch tape, all the rips, and the fact that the top of this one's missing, we've had these tapes for a very, very long time. Anyways, this is the first Pokemon VHS with the first 3 episodes. And the next tape, The Mystery of Mount Moon, which shows Ash, Clefairy, and an Onix, which contains, once again, the next 3 episodes. Also, heads up, all but one of these tapes have 3 episodes. I'll tell you which one doesn't, when we get to it, of course. Here's the next one, The Sisters of Celadon City, or Cerulean City, sorry, I'm bad at reading. And the next one, Poke Friends, which is in really rough shape, like... Okay, here's the thing. My brother was a bigger Pokemon fan than me when I was a kid, like, way bigger. And because of that, he enjoyed these tapes more than I did, so... Yeah. And also, Pokemon, at least the anime, came out the same year he was born, so he's been watching this since the beginning. Next tape, Thundershock, which shows Ash and I believe Lieutenant Surge, where this is where Ash has his gym battle against his Raichu. Yeah, look, it shows Krabby. I guess he also caught Krabby on this tape. I liked Krabby. And here's the next one, Seaside Pikachu. On the back, we see Team Rocket, I'm assuming inside of a barrel. And the next tape, Psychic Surprise, which, believe it or not, when me and my brother were little kids, we actually owned most of the Pokemon, or at least most of the tapes for Pokemon, and this was one of the few that we were missing, and we were surprised to find out how common this tape was when we went to look for it, so it's kind of weird that we never had it. And then the next tape to happen was Primate Problems, which has the infamous episode where Brock calls rice balls a jelly-filled donut. Yeah, it was kind of funny. And Ash just happened to catch a Primeape, and because of this episode, Primeape became one of my favorite Pokemon. Kind of disappointing Ash didn't use him more. Then after that came Fashion Victims, where we see Vulpix, and I think this is the tape where Brock caught his Vulpix. I don't know, I haven't watched these tapes in a while, and like I said, my brother's the Pokemon expert, not me, so he would know. Then we got Fighting Tournament, which had a pretty fun episode involving fighting type Pokemon. And ironically enough, that was like one of the only major times Ash used Primeape, and then he got rid of him in that same episode. After that came the Great Race. I don't remember if Kangaskhan was in this episode or tape. After that came Pikachu Party. And I'm guessing by the back of this tape, we also got the Ditto episode showing how, well, we do see a Ditto in all of its mistransformations. Then we got Wake Up Snorlax, which ironically enough isn't the episode where Ash caught his Snorlax. He caught a different one in the Orange Island League. And I guess this is also the Eevee episode where we learn all about Eevee. And like I said earlier, a lot of these tapes are in roughed up shape, so yeah, we're just happy to have them all. Then came Jigglypuff Pop, or once again, we see Jigglypuff, and we see 2 Pokemon sleeping, 2 singing, and then just Psyduck. And images of Jigglypuff just doodling on people's faces, because that's what it does whenever people fall asleep to its song. Okay, this one is just called Charizard. And it's a really simple cover. You just see Pikachu in the corner, Charizard, and then an Aerodactyl in the background. Yeah, they really focus on the Charizard episode on this tape. Then came Totally Togepi, which I'm guessing is when Togepi got introduced. And funny enough, because of Togepi getting introduced in the Kanto episodes of the show, a lot of people don't even realize that Togepi is technically a Generation 2 Pokemon. And the last of the red tapes, Picture Perfect. And this is the one tape that has 4 episodes instead of 3. And all these tapes together is supposedly Season 1 of Pokemon, which never made sense to me as a kid. Even now it doesn't make sense, because the next batch of tapes will add to the confusion, but sort of make sense of it. I'll show you what I mean. I'll just move these over a bit. Next up, Water Blast, which has Blastoise in the cover, as well as a doodled Pikachu with Jigglypuff next to it. And it's around these times that the tapes became yellow and had a silhouette of a random Pokemon instead of just a different image of Pikachu. Anyways, here's this tape. Next up was Our Hero Meowth, which shows Meowth dressed as a superhero, with Pikachu being confused by all of this. And here's more images of the episodes on the tape, mostly ones having to do with Misty doing like a water performance. After that, the final badge, which is where Ash gets his last gym badge. Which, yeah, a lot of people, even me, agree that Ash didn't even earn half of these badges. And we also got a cool shot of Mewtwo showing that, yeah, one of the episodes on this tape does directly tie into the first movie. This one I think is called the Poke Carol or Coral. Yeah, I don't really know. Oh, this one has the Jinx episode. Yeah, fun fact, this has a banned episode with this Pokemon Jinx. And for some reason, on the tape, it shows the censored version of the Pokemon, but if you watch the episode, it's the uncensored version, which is very odd. And now that I realize that, I think this tape is worth tracking down for that alone. Next up is Pokemon Hang 10 Pikachu. Yeah, this one's in a Rogers Video clamshell case. I have no idea how we got this. Once again, 3 more episodes, and yeah, how did my brother even get this? Next tape, Showtime, which, from what I remember, when my brother was trying to collect the rest of the tapes, apparently this one was pretty hard to come by. And I think this tape has Meowth's backstory in it, which is actually very interesting to learn how this Pokemon learned how to talk. Next up, Into the Arena, which is practically the opening ceremony of the Pokemon League. Yeah, this is really bad shape. Then came Round 1, which is practically most of the battles Ash had in the Pokemon League. Which, not gonna lie, they're really entertaining. Especially this one here where he was trying to fight a Bellsprout. And the final tape for the Kanto region, Friends and Rivals, which shows Pikachu ready for battle and a Charizard about to fight a Charmander. And if you've watched the episodes on this tape, you'll know that the fight was very disappointing. Here's the back. And this is technically Season 2 of Pokemon? Okay, here's the thing, like, let me just try and show as best as I can. And all of this right here, I think, is the first season of Pokemon. At least to me, because I don't know why, like, with modern seasons, when the theme song changed, that's when the season changed. But with early Pokemon, like, for these first few episodes, or at least, I believe, 52, and then the next, like, 25, it was all the same theme song, so I thought all of that was Season 1 of Pokemon. And I wouldn't blame you if you did, because I don't know why, like, in modern releases, or even Netflix, like, they would just call the first 50-ish episodes, like, the Indigo League, which doesn't make any sense, because the episodes where Ash himself is in the Indigo League itself, they're just not on there. So, I don't know, I just find it annoying how these, like, last 25 episodes are always left out of Season 1 of Pokemon, like, listings on streaming sites, and even a Blu-ray set, which I think is very stupid. Anyways, enough with the ranting. Let's get to the next batch of tapes I have. Okay, so this next set of tapes is incomplete, and also they skipped the Orange Island League for some reason on VHS, but here's the next set of tapes I have. Starting with Pokemon The Johto Journeys, A Brand New World. So yeah, when they started doing Pokemon Johto on VHS, instead of in the traditional cardboard boxes, they actually put them in these clamshell cases. Yeah, these actually do look kind of nice. And yeah, as you can see here, ours is a bit damaged. But yeah, here's the first 3 episodes of Pokemon Johto. The next tape we have is Mission Spinarak. Once again, more episodes from the season, and once again, a clamshell case. After that, or at least what we have next, is Flying Ace, which is where Ash was battling the Flying-type gym leader. Yeah, you already know what this looks like on the inside. Here's the next one. Okay, now here's the thing about these tapes. If you look at the bottom, it says Gold and Silver, because that's what the name of the games at the time were, Pokemon Gold and Silver. Now, with the next tape we have, as you can see here, the Clamshell Silver. Yeah, since the new game was Gold and Silver, they put this season's VHSs in Gold and Silver cases. Which, I'll admit, was kind of neat. But yeah, when it comes to Pokemon Johto, these are the only tapes we have. Yeah, for some reason, we never got more than this. Now, let's move these to the side and get to the next set of tapes we have, which are actually the movies. First up being Pokemon, the first movie, which, believe it or not, we actually have 2 copies of this movie. Yeah, I don't know why. For some reason or another, we ended up with 2 different copies of the first movie. And unlike the other ones, these come in these plastic clamshell cases, which were kind of like how a lot of old Disney movies used to be packaged. And of course, we have the second movie, Pokemon 2000, which, no, this wasn't the 2000s movie. This is just the year it came out. And all these movies also come with a Pikachu short, which, I don't know why, but a lot of the modern DVD releases for these films just don't have the shorts, which I always found annoying. And this one we actually got pretty recently, Pokemon Movie 3. Yeah, we had these two movies for a long time, but then after at some point, we end up finding this one for like $10, and we decided to just add to the collection. And we have one more, that being Pokemon Destiny Deoxys, and I found out recently, this is actually a pretty rare tape, and our only Generation 3 tape we have. And this was a movie I remember really liking as a kid, and when I watched it again on DVD, I still liked it. I still think this is a great Pokemon movie. But yeah, this is all I have for the tapes for the movies. And so with that, let's move on to DVDs. Okay, so just like the VHSs, let's start from the beginning with Pokemon the Indigo League. And here, they call it Season 1, and this has the first 26 episodes. Now, it's one of these cases where it's like 3 DVDs in one box. But I don't mind, these hold like 9 episodes apiece, and for some reason they have paper inserts which tell you the exact same information that's on the back, so I don't get it. Hang on, let me just see if there's anything on the back of this. Nah, just something for Pokemon.com. Yeah, here's the first DVD in here. Here's the second one with Team Rocket. And here's the last one with Ash's Companions. Yeah, so here was the first volume for Season 1 of Pokemon. Here's the second one, which has Team Rocket on the cover. Also as a bonus feature, at least for the first two, all of them come with the Poke Wrap at the end. Let's open this up. Once again, 3 DVDs. This one here has Pikachu and Psyduck. Once again, episode guide is on the back with a paper insert in the case, so that's just kind of weird. Next one has Aerodactyl and Eevee. And the last disc here has Pidgeotto and I believe Growlithe? Here we are, technically Volume 2. And next up, Volume 3, which contains episodes 53 to 79. First DVD has Mr. Mime and Clefairy. Oh, it's a different Pokemon on the disc this time. This time it's Horsey. Next disc has Meowth and I believe Slowbro. Ah, that's funny. And the last one has Pikachu and Scyther. Now, all these volumes together is technically the first season of Pokemon. Also, I do love how on the spine still. So, like, it starts with the starter Pokemon, then Eevee, which kind of became a secondary mascot for Pokemon. Then Meowth, which makes sense. He's one of the main villain Pokemon. Then for the last 3, they just picked random Pokemon. Now, I find these DVDs interesting because this is a really good set if you just want to get the first season of Pokemon. And unfortunately, these DVDs are out of print, but there is a big box set which has most of the episodes. I say most because I think it's on here. Let me check. Yeah, on DVD 8, there's an episode called Holiday Hijinks, which has a Pokemon with a design that they can't really use anymore. So, Yeah, that box apparently took out the episode, and if you want to watch it again, you gotta get this set. There is also a Blu-ray of Season 1 of Pokemon, but it only goes up to 52. The last 20 episodes were just not in it, which I found weird, and also kind of a scam that they advertise it has the Indigo League, but it's missing like the last third of it. I don't know, I always saw that Blu-ray set as a scam because of that. Because the next DVD I'm going to show off, I'm going to keep this for reference, is Pokemon Adventures in the Orange Islands. Once again, this time it's in cases, and this has all 36 episodes of the Orange Island League. And this time it's just the episode guide on the back. There's no paper insert this time. And from what I can gather, these are just re-releases of old DVD volumes for the Orange Island, because we did used to have Volume 2, but we lost it at some point, so... yeah, and since these are the same discs, we technically got a replacement copy. Also, Dragonite being the cover of this makes perfect sense. Now, this set here is also out of print because I think there was like a couple episodes where the problematic Pokemon made a background appearance, so they re-released the set with the episodes removed. And here's the thing. These two DVDs together on a couple streaming platforms, they call this Season 2 of Pokemon, since technically altogether it's a 50-episode season, but given how the season changed for the first time here, I always called this Season 2 and bundled all of this as Season 1, so... yeah, I don't know. I just found it weird how no one knows how to distribute the first season of Pokemon and the Orange Island League properly. I don't know. I just always found that annoying. Now, for Pokemon Johto, when I was a kid, there was like no DVDs of this season. Like, there was the super rare DVD versions of some of the tapes I showed you, but like I said, super rare, so we couldn't find them. And the third season did have a DVD release, but it was like out of print at the time, so we couldn't get it. Apparently the second season also had DVDs, but we couldn't find them, nor were even aware of them. But then recently, they started doing this. Yeah, after all this time, they finally started doing full season sets for Pokemon Johto. And this one is based off the tapes I showed you earlier. Sorry about the Walmart sticker. However, all of these DVDs have one thing, like, by the way, all these other DVDs here, they have sets like this, but all of them have one major problem I don't like. It says here, over 15 hours on 4 DVDs, which, okay, it's nice to know how long this is going to be, but the problem is, there's no episode list on any of these. Which is a problem because when Pokemon ended or wrote Ash out of the show, me and my brother wanted to binge watch like all the gym battles and Pokemon League episodes to celebrate. But when we got to trying to do it on these DVDs, there was no episode guide, so we had to guess which discs had the episodes we wanted, which was very annoying. But I'm just grateful season sets finally exist and that these seasons are easy to get. Anyways, here's Johto League Champions, which, believe it or not, me and my brother actually never knew this season existed. Like, yeah, we watched a lot of old episodes on VHS and TV and, like, compilation DVDs. But for some reason, like, this season of Pokemon just had no episodes, like, from those, like, let me try that again. This season here had, like, no episodes on those compilation DVDs when we were younger. Like, we did sort of discover it later, but I'll get to that when I get to that. Anyways, this was Season 2 of Johto, Johto League Champions. And the one that got a bigger box, Pokemon Master Quest, which was the end of the Johto region. Oh, cool, out the legendary dogs in the back. That's nice. Once again, I'm happy these seasons have complete sets now. I'm just annoyed there's no episode guide. So yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, these were the Johto seasons of Pokemon. Now, let's move on to Generation 3. Of course, starting with Pokemon Advanced. Now, I believe this came out around the same time as the Kanto DVD, so it's a similar style of packaging where it's a big box with 3 DVD volumes inside of it. And once again, paper insert with the episode guide, even though that same information's on the back. So, yeah, I think these came out around the same time. Here's the second DVD in here. And here's the third one. Also, I know there were volumes for Pokemon Advance, like, at the time, and all of these DVDs have subtitles, so anyone who's watching, were these DVDs released on their own outside of this box set, or was it only through here? Actually, I would really like to know. Then they did a second volume for Pokemon Advance, which covered the rest of the season. Once again, 3 DVDs. Here's the first one. Next one. Oh, I forgot to check. Is there anything on the back of these, or is it just the episode guide on the one side? Okay, yeah, it's just the episode guide. Here's the last one. So yeah, these 2 boxes here made up Pokemon Advanced. Now, one thing I like about these DVDs is like the red and blue like arcs on the side, because the games at the time were called Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Kinda neat, huh? Now, recently I made an Instagram, and when I did, one of the first things I showed off was some of these Pokemon Advanced Challenge DVDs we found. Yeah, so this was the next season of Pokemon Advanced, and yeah, recently we just found a bunch of these DVDs out at a thrift store. And once again, same thing, disc, paper insert with the episode guide, even though same thing on the back, so why is it even there? I don't know, we just bought these because they thought they were neat. However, these DVDs didn't cover the full season, as you can see by the random numbering. But don't worry, because just like some of the Johto seasons, they started doing complete season sets recently. And once again, tells you how long it is, just not how many episodes or what episodes are on what disc. Once again, a paper insert for the manga, which I highly recommend reading. These are really good books. And here are the DVDs. And once again, while we were thrifting, we found some old volumes for Advanced Battle. But yeah, it's the same deal. It's just episodes on the back, as well as having a paper insert with the exact same information. And once again, we have a full season set, which, not gonna lie, the covers to these are very boring. Like, I don't know, I thought the Johto ones had better covers. Once again, telling me how long it is without telling me how many episodes. Once again, doesn't tell me what episode's on what disc. But I'm not going to be too picky because I'm just happy these exist and that volumes are kind of a thing of the past. I say kind of, I'll show you what I mean later. And for the last Pokemon Advance season, or Generation 3 season, Pokemon Battle Frontier. Yeah, they stopped calling it Advanced whatever and just called it Battle Frontier since this is what Ash was in at the time. And this was kind of like the Orange Island League set where it's a thin case with 3 DVDs. Just get this out. Here's Volume 1. Episode list on the back. And no episode guides because it's right on the back. Also, one thing about these volumes that I kind of like is, yeah, a lot of them have a Pokemon as well as a bunch of facts about them on the side. Yeah, a lot of these DVDs do that, and I think that's kind of neat. Here's DVD number 3, and okay, wow, this just slid to the bottom and got bent. I'm going to see if I can fix that here. There we go, much better. Oh, on the inside here's the disc. Yeah, you can tell by the bottom, we've had this for a while. Next up, Battle Frontier Volume 2, which contained the rest of the season. Also, it's around this point, or this is the first season where all the voice actors changed. Yeah, for reasons, they kind of scrapped all the old voice actors and got new cast members for the 10th anniversary. There's a lot of technical stuff that went down when that happened, but I don't know, I was still enjoying the show at the time, and so was my brother. And this was also technically the 10th anniversary season. Yeah, there's an episode when Ash was fighting the last Frontier Brain, and he brought back some classic Pokemon, which I think was done just to celebrate 10 years. So yeah, this is Pokemon Generation 3 on my shelf. 2 volumes for the first and last seasons, and complete season sets for the middle ones. Yeah, I know it's a bit of a cluster, but this is what I have, and I'm kind of glad this is what we got. Now, let's move all these guys out of the way and get to Pokemon Generation 4. Okay, so this next set of DVDs I did show off in my last video, but here I'm going to go into a bit more detail. So, the next season of Pokemon was Diamond and Pearl, and this is Volume 1 of Season 1 of that season, containing the first 17 episodes. Okay, so instead of 3 DVDs, they gave us 2, which I think would be fine, but these big boxes are kind of a waste of space. Like, here's Volume 1 and 2, which has Turtwig and Apom, and thankfully, episode list on the back, and a Pokemon along with some of its facts. Now, I'm going to show off my problem with these DVDs when I get to all 3 of them, because, like I showed in my last video, this is a 3-volume set. Here's Volume 2, which has Dawn and some of her Pokemon. Here's the back. This time it has 18 episodes instead of 17. Yeah, and same deal. 2 DVDs inside with Pokemon on the front. Episode guide on the back, along with details on a certain Pokemon. Yep, this disc here has Pachirisu, just like on the cover. And this one has Piplup. Volume 3, back to 17 episodes. Pokemon on the cover, episodes on the back. Now, my problem with these DVDs is that they just take up too much space. Like, when you look at the sides, like, okay, it looks alright, but with the Pokemon Advance DVDs, they're able to do this in 2 box sets instead of 3, so Aside from all the shelf space, it felt like they were trying to milk you for as much money as they could to sell you a season of Pokemon. And it didn't end here, because the next volume, or next season to be more accurate, Battle Dimensions did the same thing. Big boxes with only 2 DVDs inside. And once again, 17 episodes. Also, the top is really scraped. I have no idea why that happened. And just like before, same deal. 2 volumes inside with Pokemon on the covers, and episode guides and tidbits on other Pokemon on the back. Like, granted, I am happy these come with the episode list, but with how much space these take up, it's a bit excessive what they did here. Here's Volume 2, 17 more episodes. This time it has Dawn and more for Pokemon. Here's the back. Side, same deal. Front and the back. I like showing off the discs because sometimes it's not the Pokemon on the cover, or at least it shows them in a different pose. And here's Volume 3 with 18 episodes, and believe it or not, where I lived, this DVD was just nowhere to be found. And it wasn't until my family took a trip to New York where we just happened to find this one finally. Yeah, this one was surprisingly hard to come by when it first came out in the area I lived in. Okay, same deal. This time it's Brock's Pokemon. And this here was Season 2 of Diamond and Pearl. Once again, 3 large boxes I don't think they needed to do. Next up, Galactic Battles, and this time it had 15 episodes instead of the 17 or 18 the other ones had, but still big boxes with only 2 DVDs in them. Oh, this one comes with a paper insert for the manga version of one of the movies. That's neat. Here are the DVDs with Rotom and, I'm going to say Gabite this Pokemon's called. This one's in, there we go. How am I doing this? Oh, here. I'm just not doing this right on camera. I'm so sorry. Oops. There we go. Galactic Battle Volume 1. Here's Volume 2. Now, let me see if I need to adjust this. There we go. Once again, another... Oh, this one has even less episodes. This one has 12. Yeah, it looks like they're starting to cut corners on the amount of episodes on these sets. Galactic Battles Volume 3, another 12 episodes. Here are the Pokemon on the front. Episode guides on the back. Now, once again, 3 volumes. You think this made up the season? Nope. because of how many episodes they cut, they had enough extra room to do a force volume to milk more people out of their money. Like, what were they trying to prove by doing this? Like, the other two seasons already took up so much space as is, so having a force one to these sets was just overly... how do I word this? I don't know, it was just excessive. Because around this time, volumes were kind of extinct, or they were expected to have more episodes. Like, if it's a long show, then yeah, I would expect volumes like of 20 apiece, but with how little these had, I don't know, it was a bit much. Like, when you put them all together, like, this right here is 3 seasons of Pokemon, which doesn't seem like much, but by the time these came out, this was too many DVDs for, like, any of it. And when you turn them around, hang on. Like in the old days, I'm pretty sure, like, up to this would have been, like, from here to here, would have been the number of volumes for 1 season of Pokemon. But for this many for 3 is a bit excessive. But thankfully, for the last season of Diamond and Pearl, like shown in or Sinnoh League Victors, they went back to normal DVD cases. Yeah, they finally went back to just doing this. And, okay, granted, these have even less episodes, like this one has 12 and the rest have 11, but you know what? With how little space they take up compared to the other ones, yeah, I'm cool with this. Anyways, let me show off what I got. Here's the first volume of Sinnoh League Victors, which has Team Rocket and their Pokemon. Okay, the problem with this DVD set, or at least these volumes, is that they stopped giving you the episode numbers, or at least what episodes on what disc or volume, so... Like I said, when me and my brother were trying to binge the Pokemon League episodes, we had to guess what episode was on what disc. And thankfully, recently, there are proper season sets for all these DVDs. And these are just what I happen to have. So yeah, all of this is Diamond and Pearl of Pokemon. Yeah, they really, really went overboard with this season or generation of Pokemon. Yeah, I know these are in backwards order, but you know what? I don't care. I'm just glad I have it all. They obviously went a little overboard with the 1 season, so let's just take all this out of the way and let's get to Black and White. Okay, so with Black and White, it started off with Volume 1 of Pokemon Black and White. This here contains the first 12 episodes, and on the back, a Pokemon, some of its stats, a bit of intel on the season, inside 2 discs. Also, I love the theme of the season, Black and White, how the DVDs kind of kept it, because here, the front is black, but on the back it's white, and same with the discs. Black and white. And Volume 2 kept with that trend. Another 12 episodes on 2 discs, and here, the cover is white, but the back is black. Not gonna lie, I kinda liked how committed they were to that gimmick. Here are the discs. Here's Volume 3. And Volume 4 of the first season of Black and White. Another 12 episodes. Altogether, it's 48. Now, like with Diamond and Pearl, at least one of its seasons, like, this was done in 4 volumes, but frankly, I don't mind this because those are giant boxes. These are slim DVD cases that don't take up much room, so yeah, this was an improvement. Also, I do love how on the bottom it's the starters, and then in the last one it's Pikachu. That's a nice little detail. Now, the next season of Black and White, Rival Destinies. Same thing. 12 episodes. Black cover. White back. Pokemon with some of its stats. And the episode numbers. Here's Volume 2. Another 12 episodes. This one's 13 to 24. Oh, both discs are black this time. They didn't do black and white. Wait, this one not do that either? Oh no, both discs are white this time, and this one they're black. Okay. Here's Volume 3. This one has 25 episodes. Okay, on 4 DVDs. And here, they did the whole black and white thing again. So yeah, Rival Destinies was on 3 DVDs this time, and I'm very grateful they decided to just cram more episodes on the last DVD. That was nice of them. Here we are, the 3 DVDs making up this season. Now, the last season of Black and White was literally given to us on 2 volumes instead of just 3 or 4, so yeah, this was awesome. This one, Black and White Adventures in Unova, and this one, Black and White Adventures in Unova and Beyond. This is technically 1 season, with Charizard and Dragonite on the covers. Here we are. Episode numbers 1 to 25, Pokemon and its stats. Paper insert for the manga. Actually, what else is in here? Oh, the toys. Here are the DVDs. Here's the next one. Oh, they already started advertising Pokemon X and Y merchandise at this point. That's neat. Oh, this one has 3 DVDs. Okay, that's not what I was expecting. Here was Season 3 of Black and White, and I do like how for the last one they gave us the legendaries on the spine. So yeah, this was Pokemon Black and White on DVD, and I gotta say, this was way better than Diamond and Pearl because, yeah, it's technically a lot of DVDs, but they're more compact and don't take up as much space. I'd say this was about... Yeah, I'd say with this many DVDs, this was probably what would have been Season 1 of Diamond and Pearl, but here, it's all of Black and White, like all 3 of its seasons. And, like I've been mentioning before, each of the 3 seasons nowadays have a proper season set, so you don't have to buy the volumes anymore, but they are still cool to have. So with this, let's move on to X and Y. So, X and Y start off with Pokemon the Series, X and Y, Volume 1. Actually, it doesn't say Volume 1 on the cover. You just gotta look at the spine to see that information. But it says 24 episodes. And no Pokemon description, just 3 random Pokemon, that being the starter Pokemon. On the inside, paper insert for the manga, and here are the DVDs. And believe it or not, it was actually this season of Pokemon that actually got me back into watching the anime. And it even got me to play the games, which I never really did before. X and Y was a really good season of Pokemon. Then we got Volume 2, which had Team Rocket. Another 24 episodes. Here's the back. Here's the inside. And this was Season 1. It was just 2 volumes, which I really like. Next up, X and Y Kalos Quest, and thankfully this time it gives you the volume number on the cover. This one's 22 episodes. And it's all on 3 DVDs. Next up, Kalos Quest Volume 2. This one has 23 episodes. And once again, just 2 DVDs. They didn't really overstay their welcome. Now for the last season of X and Y, Pokemon X, Y, and Z, which this volume here has 24 episodes, and the cover is Ash, Pikachu, and... Okay, this is called Ash Greninja, but given how the theme of this season was Mega Evolution, and Ash for some reason never had any Mega Pokemon, I always looked at this as Mega Greninja. Until recently when they retconned an actual Mega Greninja, so... I don't know, Ash Greninja was always just weird to me. I mean, yeah, it looked cool, but still. I feel like they should have just made it a proper Mega Evolution. Along with the other starter Pokemon. Yeah, I feel like all the starters should have had Mega Evolutions from the beginning instead of later. X, Y, and Z Volume 2. Another 24 episodes. But yeah, X and Y was just a really good season of Pokemon. And here are all the seasons together, and look, these don't take up much space, so they're clearly getting better at releasing the show. And I very much appreciate that. I was kind of weird how the bottoms, like the first two have humans and the rest just have Pikachu. I always found that odd. So yeah, now after this, let's get on to Pokemon Sun and Moon. Alright, so the first volume of Sun and Moon we got was no volumes at all. Yeah, this time, they just gave us a complete season for Sun and Moon. All 43 episodes. Another ad for the manga. Here are the DVDs. Yeah, no volumes this time. They just gave it to us all in one go. Whoa. Okay, I had no idea that disc fell. I just thought it was supposed to be down here. And anyways, despite the art style change of this season, I actually really liked Sun and Moon. And once again, no volumes for the next one. They just gave us the whole season. Pokemon Sun and Moon Ultra Adventures. And fun fact, this season actually got a Blu-ray release. Like this volume right here. And look, they took advantage of the see-through plastic to give us background artwork. That's so cool. Now, let's grab the next season of Sun and Moon. What is this? So, yeah, for Sun and Moon, the first two seasons, they gave us actual season sets. For the last season, they gave us 3 volumes. Why? Anyways, here's Ultra Legends, and it has a subtitle, The Last Guard Trail, or Last Grand Trial, sorry. And the episode number is on really tiny print on the back. This has 18 episodes, but I don't know. I just thought it was weird how they went back to volumes after doing so well with the first 2 seasons. A lot of people theorize that the reason they did this was because the Blu-ray version of Season 2 sold really poorly. Hang on, this is Volume 2. So, as a way to make up for the money they lost, they just released the last season of Sun and Moon in volumes. And this volume is called The Alola League Begins. Even though I'm pretty sure, like, the actual Alola League, I think was actually on the next DVD. Yeah, I believe the last episode of this DVD is, like, the opening ceremony. Well, this last volume here is the actual tournament. Which, by the way, Sun and Moon had an awesome Pokemon League. That I will not complain. And it's also the very first time that Ash actually won a Pokemon League. And I think the reason they did it now after all this time was because this was technically the 20th anniversary season of Pokemon. And it's shown with the first season here because, if you can see here, they actually brought back Misty and Brock for Pokemon in a couple episodes. Anyway, this is Sun and Moon, and despite my annoyance with the last season being 3 volumes again, I'm just glad we got this season because Sun and Moon was a really fun season of Pokemon. X and Y was epic. This was fun. Now, let's get into the last season of Pokemon I have on DVD. Alright, so technically the last season of Pokemon I have on DVD, being Pokemon Journeys. And just like the last season of Sun and Moon, they went back to volumes because this is Volume 1. This is Volume 2. And this is Volume 3. Yeah, all this for one season. Anyways, here's Volume 1 of Pokemon Journeys. It's kind of similar to the Sun and Moon DVDs where the episode number, like the specifics is on the back, even though they show it here, but I don't know, I just don't like how they went back to volumes again. Because these were like maybe like $20 cheaper than the season sets, but if you're only getting like a third of the episodes, I still feel like it was a bit much. Here's Volume 2. Another ad for the manga. And, okay, I don't like this because it shows reading the manga on an iPad, which, okay, if I want to read a book, I'll read the book itself. I don't want to read it on a tablet. And here's Volume 3. Now, despite the tiny text on the back that gives you a rough idea on what episode they're on here, another way they kind of numbered these was with the spines on the bottom. Because let me show you here. Hang on. There you go. Yeah, for these, they have Pikachu's evolution line. So Volume 1 is Pichu, Volume 2 is Pikachu, and Volume 3 is Raichu. Which I guess is kind of clever, but frankly, if this was your first season of Pokemon and you didn't know Pikachu's evolution line, that would kind of tell you nothing. I don't know, I just think it's weird they went back to volumes again after doing so well. But thankfully, I think they made their money back with those volumes because Master Journeys was just one season again. Thank God. But it still has that problem of 24 hours of Pokemon. Like, the amount of episodes is on here, but there's no actual episode guide on this. So again, oh, hold on. I actually haven't opened this in a while. Yes, they finally give us the episode numbers on the disc. So, yeah, if you want to know what episodes on what disc, this one finally tells you. Man, it took them this long to start doing that? Anyways, this was Season 2 of Master Journeys, or Season 2 of Journeys, is just the subtitle. Now, before I get to the last season, there was a special called the Arceus Chronicles, which was kind of a tie-in to Pokemon Legends Arceus, which was a game that was new at the time, so they made this hour-long special just to promote the game. Also, I think this was a Netflix special, so the fact that it even got a physical release is something I'm very much grateful for. Now time for the actual final season of Pokemon, in my opinion. Pokemon Ultimate Journeys. Now this I call the final season because this was the last season to have Ash before they wrote him out of the show. As well, it also comes with To Be a Pokemon Master, which I believe was 12 extra episodes, which had Ash teaming up with Brock and Misty again for one final journey. And once again, they kept the episode numbers on the disc, so I can actually know what episode's on what disc, thankfully. And it's also around this season where Ash became world champion. And after giving him that accomplishment, I think this was a good point to just write Ash out of the show and call his journey finished. And these right here are the DVDs for Pokemon Journeys. Yeah, unlike Sun and Moon, X and Y, or Black and White, this feels more like a mess because we got volumes for one season, a proper season, a TV special, and then an actual season along with a mini-series. So, yeah, this season was a bit of a jumbled mess, but I'm just happy we have it all. And when it comes to the show, this is where it ended. At least for me and my brother. So with that, let's move on to the movies now. Okay, so to start things off with the movies, here's just the first 3 movies right from the get-go. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, I had to show these off because I also have this steelbook of the 3 movies on Blu-ray. But I got these because I found this at a DVD store which hadn't been sold, and yeah, I really liked it. And here's the same with the first 3 movies. Here's the first movie again. And what I like about these DVDs is that they come with a bunch of bonus features like Pikachu shorts. They also have like music videos, trailers, little trivia games. These DVDs had a lot to them. And then they're in these like little flap cases. Yeah, these were released by Warner Bros. Back in the day. Once again, here's 2000. Same thing, same style case. A ton of bonus features back when TVs used to just fill the disc with as much as they could. And fun fact about Pokemon 3's short, yeah, the Pikachu short in this movie is actually banned in Japan. Yeah, apparently the narrator in Japanese got into some controversy, and for how they stored it, they couldn't re-record the audio, so the short on here is actually really hard to find nowadays. So unless you have this old DVD, you're not watching that short. And like I showed before, we actually got the movies on Blu-ray on this steelbook, which I did show off in another video. Which, I'll admit, this is actually a really nice release of the movies. Yeah, just some more paper inserts. Except for one little problem. These Blu-rays have no bonus features. Yeah, even though these are the best the movies have ever looked, they just cut out all the extras. So, unless you want bonus features, you're going to have to track down these old DVDs. So yeah, you watch these for the extras, and you watch this for the picture quality. Also, another cool bonus feature this DVD has is actually a Japanese trailer to the next Pokemon movie. Which is crazy because outside of this trailer, the closest thing we got to Pokemon Japanese in the West was actually this, Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution. Yeah, when the first movie hit 20 years old, they actually remade it. Yeah, I know it's in a weird 3D art style, but I'm not complaining. I actually thought this looked really good. And I don't know if it was at an event or if this is on here. I'm reading the back and it doesn't look like it, but yeah, apparently the Japanese version of this movie was shown in limited quantities in the West. And another thing about the first Pokemon movie, it kind of got its own separate sequel outside of Pokemon 2000 with Pokemon Mewtwo Returns, which was just an hour-long TV special where it actually takes place after the first movie with some pretty interesting connections. And this DVD is out of print and it hasn't been re-released, which is sad because one of the bonus features is that it comes with a Mewtwo short, which is actually a prologue to the first movie, which was not dubbed until this. And the first movie of Pokemon I find weird because, like, there's like 2 proper openings. Like, this one comes with the prologue. This one comes with the actual opening. But for some reason, on the Blu-ray, like, the first, like, 10 minutes of the movie were just cut out. I don't get it because, like, this remake actually has that opening segment. Not the prologue that's on here, but the actual proper opening of the movie. Yeah, Pokemon the movie's weird to me, so if you want to watch it proper, you watch this for the prologue, this for the actual opening of the film, and then you watch this for the good quality. Yeah, Pokemon the first movie is just so weird to me how there's not been a good physical release of the movie since this. Sorry about the jumbled ranting, I don't know, the first Pokemon movie is just a weird anomaly to me. It's like Digimon the first movie, but slightly less confusing. Anyways, enough with that rambling, let's just continue. The next movie I happen to have on DVD was Pokemon Heroes, which I think was my brother's first Pokemon DVD. Once again, a bunch of bonus features and a Pikachu short. Okay, that's funny. Like, okay, on the top it's the English name, and on the bottom side it's the French version. And this paper insert is the chapter select, which I find weird. Like, why would this need to be in here? I just pop in the DVD and I'll know all that information right away. Now, this next DVD, I've shown off twice already on my channel. That being Pokemon Legends, which is a 4-movie pack which contains another copy of Pokemon Heroes, Pokemon Forever, which the Pokemon 3 movie had a Japanese trailer to, Jirachi Witchmaker, which was an interesting one, and Pokemon Destiny Deoxys, which this is my DVD copy of the movie. Now, here's the inside, here's Ash and Pikachu. And here it shows off each of the bonus features for each of the DVDs. And here are the discs. Now, like I showed off twice already, there's no buttons to get these out. You have to do this weird push down and then they come out thing. Like, seriously, I keep asking people, has there ever been any other DVD set that did this? This set has always confused me just for this fact alone. Yeah, I'm sorry I showed this off a third time. It's just, I really want answers on this packaging design. Now the next two, I did show off in my last video. That being, well, the next movie, Pokemon Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. Really good movie, by the way. And it's also the 10th anniversary special for Pokemon. Yeah, it comes with a bonus disc for Mastermind of Mirage Pokemon, which, like it says here, 10th anniversary special. And like I pointed out in the other video, it was in that movie where they changed all the voice actors, and Lucario and the Mystery Mew was actually the very last Pokemon movie to use the original actors before they changed them. And this movie, I think it did get re-released on a single DVD. It just cut out the special, which is really sad because I feel like this is an interesting DVD. It's like a passing of the torch. Like here's the original actor's final hurrah, and this is the new actor's beginning. Yeah, for that reason alone, I feel like this DVD is worth checking out if you could find it for a good price. Then after that, Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea. Yeah, this one was just labeled as a Pokemon Ranger movie. Probably because that was kind of the spin-off game they were advertising at the time. As well as Diamond and Pearl, this was also new at the time. Also for this one, the Pikachu short is a separate disc instead of being on the main one. I found that weird. Anyways, these were the DVDs for the first 3 generations of Pokemon movies I have, so let's move on to the next batch of DVDs. And the next movie we have is Pokemon The Rise of Darkrai, which is the first Diamond and Pearl movie. Oh, this one has these clips on the side. Huh. I figured by the time this DVD came out, that would have been extinct by then, but no, it's still a thing. Also, this movie has really awesome disc art of Darkrai. This actually looks really cool. Right here, an ad for some of the Pokemon games at the time. Yeah, Rise of Darkrai. After that, Pokemon Giratina and the Sky Warrior. Now, this movie, or at least this DVD, is weird because if you look on the back, you can see it was released by Universal. Which doesn't make any sense because all the other DVDs up to this point, they were all released by Warner Brothers. Especially this one on the back. Okay, it's not shown too well, but Yeah, they were all released by Warner Bros. Up until this movie. Which is weird because they would later re-release the movie by Warner, so... Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this movie. Next one, Pokemon Arceus and the Jewel of Life. Yeah, I remember this movie being okay at best. And what was technically my final Pokemon movie, Pokemon Zoroark and the Master of Illusions. Yeah, I don't know why, like, after this movie, I just openly stopped watching Pokemon altogether after this one. Yeah, I don't remember this movie being all that good when I first saw it. Like, I watched it again recently and I liked it better, but... I don't know, this is kind of a nothing movie and a foreshadow of things to come. Now, this next movie, Pokemon Black and White... Okay, this is technically 2 movies in one. Because with this movie, they pulled a games where... Yeah, they made 2 versions of the same movie, just the legendary Pokemon it focuses on is different, and maybe a couple extra background Pokemon, and... Yeah, I'm going to be real with you. I never saw this movie until me and my brother decided to just watch all the movies. And when we got to this one, it wasn't that good, and the fact there's 2 versions of it doesn't help. And it only gets worse because this one, Pokemon Keleon versus the Sword of Justice. Yeah, to me, this is the worst Pokemon movie. Like, when I watched it, I did not like it. Like, it was such a boring movie that I feel like could have been a 20-minute special, but they just dragged it out on and on. Yeah, to me, this is the worst out of all the Pokemon movies. And then came the next movie, Pokemon Genesect and the Legend Awakened, which is actually the first movie to introduce Mega Evolution by showing us Mega Mewtwo, and heavily focusing on the Pokemon Genesect. Like, this was an improvement over the last movie, but the bar was set pretty low to the point where, yeah, this movie wasn't that great either, but it was better than the last one. After that, Pokemon Diancie and the... I'm going to say Cocoon of Destruction, sorry. This was an okay movie. It's the first of the X and Y films. And funny enough, this actually has a bonus feature. Yeah, this is the next movie. They each had like a prologue short, which aired in Japan. And yeah, these DVDs actually dubbed the short in English and actually included them. Not gonna lie, it's been a while since these movies had bonus features, so the fact this had that was really cool to see. Here's the next one. Hoopa and the Clash of Ages, which, yeah, when it comes to the X and Y movies, this was not that good. Like, Hoopa was just annoying. And frankly, I don't think Ash needed to be in this movie. And the only thing I like about this movie is the fact this DVD came with a short, which I feel like would have been lost media if it wasn't put in here. Now for the last of the X and Y movies. Oh, what's this one called? Volcanion and the Mystical... Sorry, I'm such a bad reader. I think this one's called Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel. Yeah, that's it. And this was the last of the X and Y movies. Definitely a massive improvement over the second movie, but like I said, the bar was set pretty low, so that's not saying much. And this is actually the last Pokemon movie to be connected to the anime. Let me show you what I mean. Because the next movie came out during Pokemon's 20th anniversary, so they made this, Pokemon I Choose You, which is an hour-long movie, or an hour-and-a-half movie, which I actually saw this in theaters, by the way. And it's kind of an interesting retelling of the beginning of Pokemon. And funny enough, when I saw this movie in theaters, they actually played a few extra Pokemon shorts, which you could have watched on YouTube. Probably as a way to pad out the running time, but frankly, I thought this was a really nice 20th anniversary celebration film. Especially the end credits scene where it shows all of Ash's companions up to this point, even though it's just him and a couple new characters. Then after that, we got Pokemon The Power of Us, which was another really good Pokemon movie, which, just like the last one, I saw this in theaters, and it was a really good time. Also, I find it weird how in this movie and in the last one, they both technically show Pokemon dying in flashbacks. I don't know, I find it weird how these Pokemon movies just kept showing Pokemon dying. Then here comes the next movie, Pokemon Secrets of the Jungle, which, funny enough, this one still has the plastic on it because we opened it in a way to where we can technically push the bottom and get it out, and I don't know, leaving the plastic on just felt funny. And up to this day, this is technically the final Pokemon movie. Yeah, because of all the lockdowns around the world, this movie didn't do too well, so it got pushed to Netflix. And despite that, I thought this was another really good movie. And it's kind of sad that it's the last one, because even with this new generation of Pokemon, they haven't made any more movies. Now, this other one came out before a couple of the others, I think. But it's still a Pokemon movie. That being Detective Pikachu. Yeah, this was based off the Pokemon game Detective Pikachu, and I don't know, for a live-action Pokemon movie, I thought it was a good attempt for what it was. Even came with a trading card. And a digital code, which, hang on, if any of you guys want it, here it is. Let me know in the comments if this code still works. Oh, I forgot to put the card back in. Also, I was reading the back of this recently, and there's actually a bonus feature I've never watched, but want to. It's practically a commentary with the Pokemon called Mr. Mime. And it's a Pokemon that doesn't speak. It talks through sign language. So how that thing does a movie commentary, I do not know. And I kind of want to see because that just sounds hilarious. So with that, these are my DVDs for the other Pokemon films. And yeah, the movies really varied in quality with these movies. Like, some were really good, some were really bad, and a lot were just okay. So, now that we've covered all the movies, let's get to all the miscellaneous stuff I happen to have. To kick this part off, let's start with Pokemon Elementals Collection 1 and Collection 2. Yeah, when my family took that trip to New York, we found these, and we just wanted something to watch in the hotel, so we got these. They're random DVDs where each of the discs is just a different Pokemon type. Like here, this first disc is about Grass-type Pokemon. Disc 2 is about Fire types. This one's about Water. This one's about Electric. And this last disc is about Ice Pokemon. And Collection 2 is just more of the same. Like, we open it up. First disc here is all about Dark-type Pokemon. Disc 2 is about Psychic. Disc 3 is about Dragon. This one here is about Ghost. And this last one's about Ground-type Pokemon. Like I said, we just got these because we wanted something to watch in the hotel at the time. So, these were just kind of an impulse buy. Now, this other one is a really old one, which I wish got re-released. That being Pokemon Pikachu's Winter Vacation. Yeah, these are 4 Pokemon Christmas shorts. And yeah, me and my family, we always bust this DVD out around the holidays, and it's always a good time. And like I said, this DVD's been out of print for years, and given how much we love these shorts, I'm sad people can't really watch them anymore unless you could track down this old DVD. Which led to the other DVD I'm going to show off, which was definitely an impulse buy. That being Pokemon Winter Celebration, which we thought would have more Christmas shorts, but it's just 7 random episodes of the anime which take place in wintry locations. Yeah, I feel like we kind of got gypped on this one. So if you have the season sets, you'll probably have all the episodes that are on this DVD. Now the next one is a DVD I really wanted to show off in Strange World of DVD Packaging Part 2, but I accidentally forgot. That being Pokemon All-Stars. Yeah, this was around the 10th anniversary where they started releasing random volumes or DVDs about certain Pokemon. And this box set here is the first 10 of those. Like here, like it shows 1 through 10, and each of these Pokemon have a disc on here which shows a bunch of episodes about said Pokemon. And this box was huge. Like, it just keeps folding more and more, and there's like so many DVDs in here. I can barely show them all off. Yeah, me and my brother watched this set a lot, and remember how earlier when I told you we didn't know about there being a second season of Pokemon Johto? Well, this DVD of Eevee actually had one of the episodes from the middle season of Johto, and that's how we discovered it existed, because the rest of these are either Kanto or other seasons. And also, me and my brother's favorite disc on this set was actually the Blastoise one, because it actually had really awesome Pokemon League episodes on it. And I do love how on the back art it does show what episodes are on each disc. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we bought this because we thought it was a complete series of Pokemon DVD, which we were very wrong about. Also, they didn't stop at this, because they made a second one, Pokemon All-Stars 2, with another 10 Pokemon with their own DVDs. And unlike the last one, which both sides were the same, with this one, on the back, it actually gives you a better view of each of the Pokemon featured in the set. So, let's open it up and show you guys what's in here. Yeah, I guess this sold really well to the point they decided to make another one. Like I said before, the only reason we would have owned this was to own other episodes from seasons that weren't out on DVD at the time, or at least in their entirety. But nowadays, these are just kind of a weird novelty if you just want to collect random Pokemon DVDs. Now, the next DVD I'm going to show off is something that I'm amazed I even got my hands on. Let me bring it out. That being Pokemon Chronicles, which I dubbed the Lost Season of Pokemon. Yeah, this was a season that took place in between the last season of Johto and the first season of Advance. And in the West, we got like no DVDs of this season, so we had to import these. And it was weird because they did this box set with the first 3 volumes, and Volume 4 we had to get on its own. Yeah, this was such a strange season of Pokemon. Also, I find it weird how Volumes 3 and 4 technically have the same cover, just the background is different. And I find it sad how this Pokemon season gets, like, no attention. Like, outside of this overseas DVD set, there is no way to watch this season in the West, like, at all. Which is sad because some of the episodes are really, really good. And that Pokemon Christmas DVD I showed off, this has more of them. So if you like those Christmas shorts and you want more, you need to import this. And I find it sad how, like, a bunch of new fans don't even know this even exists, and I wouldn't be surprised if even old fans who were alive when this came out are also unaware of its existence or even completely forgot about it. Yeah, if you're a Pokemon fan, I recommend tracking down this season because I think it's really underrated and needs more attention. And so with that, these are all my Pokemon DVDs. So yeah, I own a season of Pokemon most fans are unaware of nor talk about much anymore. And here's the sad thing about this season. Even though I was super young, I vaguely, and I mean very vaguely, remember watching a couple of these episodes on TV. Which I still still find sad that this season has not been re-released in any capacity since. And so with that, that's my physical media collection for Pokemon. Not counting the video games, of course. Which makes me wonder, what are your collections like? Is it similar to mine? Do you have only the volumes, the box sets, or something different? I'd like to hear in the comments what you guys have and how you collected it, because given the journey me and my brother went through to get all these, it's kind of fun looking back on how we acquired some of them. And I'm also happy that Pokemon managed to reach 30 years, and it's still going. Like, the show is still going, even though Ash isn't in it anymore. And the games are still going pretty strong, I think, and even Generation 10 was just announced recently, so there's a lot to look forward to with Pokemon still. Granted, I'm not watching the show anymore since Ash left, and the newest game is gonna be for Switch 2, which is a console I don't really want because of the price and game keycard situation. Other than that, I am very thankful to all of you who made it this far in the video, and I look forward to making more videos this year. And so with that, I wish you a good night. See ya!